You may have heard me speak about living above your means, and I'm sure that I wasn't the first or the last person that you heard speaking about this. However, you found yourself having questions on what does it mean to actually live above your means, and how can you start exiting that phase of your life and start working towards financial freedom, which is the series that you are working towards. So if you are that person right now that has those questions, I'm going to be breaking it down for you in the most tangible and the most practical way that you can go and start implementing this. If you want to take notes, make sure that you grab yourself a notebook, because with the videos that I'm creating in this series, you need to be taking notes so that you can go back and implement, because the information I'm sharing is more on a practical sense and less on a theoretical sense. So grab yourself a notebook and a pen. Let us go to school. The first thing that I need you to understand is that living above your means is not a problem. It's a symptom of a problem. It's a symptom of a deeper problem. So it's very important that you take time and understand what is the root cause, what is the deep problem, what is the reason why I'm living above my means. And so you cannot say that I'm dealing with or I'm solving the issue of living above my means, because you will not win. You need to deal with the reason why are you living above your means. So that's the first thing that you need to understand, and that's the first approach that you need to take whenever you start saying, I'm going to deal with my finances. So I'm going to give you some of the reasons that I think could be leading you to be living above your means. Obviously, I'm not going to exhaust all options here or all reasons why you could be living above your means. Some things you may know when you look at your finances, I may not know, but it's very important that you actually take time, guys, and actually spend time looking at your finances so that you can understand what is the root cause of why you are living above your means. But I'm going to give you a few. So the first one might be that debt is the reason why you find yourself living above your means. So it could be that you are over indebted right now. You have got a credit card, personal loan, store cards, and you are battling to pay for these things. That could be the reason why you are living above your means. It could be also that you are using one debt to cover another debt. That could be the reason why you are living above your means. And so basically what I'm saying here is, if you've got a lot of debt, you will find yourself struggling to live within your means, because you find yourself having to rely on debt to meet some of your monthly needs. Another one could be family responsibilities. We can't shy away from this. For many of us Black folks, we are carrying a lot on our shoulders. We are carrying ourselves. We also have to carry our siblings. We have to look after our parents as well. And so if this is you, it could be the reason why you are living above your means, because there is so much that you have to do for your family. There are so much things that you are expected to do and provide for, and thus this is leading you to live above your means. And lastly, it could be that you are overcommitting. You might find that you are sitting around with your friends and you're discussing that, you know what, 2024, it is the time for us to travel the world. It's time for us to leave SA and just go see what is out there. And so you discuss holidays, possible holidays that you want to go to, and so you decide on a destination, and now you have all committed that you want to do this, only to find that when you look at your finances, you honestly can see that you cannot afford this. And instead of saying, guys, I cannot afford this, you decide that, you know what, I'm definitely going to do this. And so you go into your credit card to finance your trip. So it could be that you are overcommitting. It could be that you are buying a house that you cannot afford, and thus you've overcommitted, or you are buying things without having to take time and evaluate the things that you are buying and whether you can afford them or not, and thus you are overcommitted. That could be the root cause. So there you have to deal with the root cause. It's very important that you understand what is the root cause, because if you do not know what is the root cause, it's going to be hard for you to exit this phase of your life of living above your means. Then the question that you might be having is, Jen, what does it look like to be living above my means? How can I know that I'm living above my means? Yes, we've spoken of root causes, but how can I know? What are the things that I could be doing that I could be able to identify that I'm actually living above my means? I'm going to take you through some of the things that you should be thinking about. And as I said, some of these things are not exhaustive. There are some things that I may have not mentioned that you know about. So it's very important that you take time and look at your finances. So the first one is that you're constantly borrowing money from Umashonisa. If Umashonisa knows you by your second name, then it is highly likely that you are living above your means. Because if you're going to Umashonisa, what are you going to Umashonisa for? You are going to Umashonisa because you need money. Why do you need money? It's because you need to deal with something in your finances that need money and you do not have that money. What does this mean now? It means that the money that you get paid is not enough to cover all of your responsibilities in addition to the things that may come up in the month. And thus you see the need to go and borrow money from umashonisa. So that could be a symptom, or that could be a sign for you to know that I'm living above my means. And it doesn't have to be umashonisa. You're borrowing money from your friends. So you have this tendency whereby you can borrow money from this friend and they can also give you money. That could be a sign that you are living above your means. If you are paying a credit card when you get paid, so let's say for instance you are owing 5,000 and you put in your minimum there, so you put in 500 rands, and then 2 weeks down the line or a week down the line you have to go back and use that 500 rands because you have run out of money or you do not have enough money to meet some of your needs, then you are definitely living, that is a sign that you are living above your means. If you are buying a car or a house that you cannot afford, so you bought a house, you bought a car that you cannot afford, and how do you know that I bought a car or a house that I cannot afford? If you go to the bank and they tell you that you can afford a house of 800,000, and then you go and buy a house of 800,000 or slightly above 800,000, then you must know that you are highly likely to find yourself living above your means down the line, especially if you picked a flexible interest rate, meaning that when the repo rate goes up, then your interest rate will go up on your house. That means that you are going to be paying more than what you used to pay. If that consistently happens, as it has been happening, for the past 2 to 3 years, and you have found yourself struggling more and more paying for your house, that could be leading you to living above your means. But most cases, for people who are struggling to pay for their houses now because of all the interest rate hikes, is because the houses that they bought were on the max side of what they can afford. So the bank said you can afford a house of 800,000, and you went and bought a house of 800,000. A bank said you can afford a house of 1.5 million, and you went and matched that exactly. Then you will find yourself down the line struggling. And so you may start out okay, that you are fine, you are managing this very well, and then the interest rate hikes come, and then you find yourself having to pay more and more. Then you will find yourself living above your means, because a house is not just paying for the house. There's still rates and levies, there's still water and electricity, there's still insurance. And so when you add all of those things up, it may take you out of budget. And so it's very important that you buy things you can afford. But if you bought a house that you can afford, and what I'm saying, it's something that is sinking in for you, that could be the reason why you are living above your means and why you have to constantly go and borrow money from people or a credit card in order for you to meet some of your needs. Or you bought a car that you cannot afford. So a car that you cannot afford, what does it look like? A bank tells you that you can afford a car of 300,000, and you buy a car of 300,000, same thing as a house, and you forget that you still have to fill up petrol, you forget that you still have to pay for insurance, there is a tracker here, and then you go and buy this car. What will happen is you will struggle to maintain this car. You will have a car, but this car will be a pain in your life and a source of stress in your life, and you will not enjoy driving this car because you're thinking of all the money that is going towards this car. And though it's very important that when you're buying a car or a house and they tell you that this is the amount of money you can afford, doesn't mean that you must go and cap that. Don't cap that. Buy something that is way lower so that you are able to maneuver as things change, because in life we are not constant. Things are always changing, and so you must always plan for the possible changes. That way you will find yourself that you do not struggle with your responsibilities. But if you're a person that only looks at now and do not plan for the changes, then you're going to struggle. You will find yourself living above your means. And then lastly, if your salary cannot cover all of your living expenses, and thus you find yourself having to tap into a credit card, borrow money from family or friends or mashonisa, then definitely you are living above your means. If you sit down and you do your budget and you realize that you are over budget every time you are on a negative, maybe on a negative, 500 rand or 1,000, that is a sign that you are living above your means. And now that you understand the signs of why you are living above your means and also what is the root cause I think it wouldn't be fair for me to just leave you hanging there. So the next question that you could be having is, okay, Jen, I hear you. This is something that I'm honestly battling with. What can I do to start fixing my finances? What can I do to start dealing with this root cause so that I can stop living above my means and start working towards financial freedom? I'm going to give you few options that you need to consider in order for you to work towards exiting this phase of your life. And please, guys, please be mindful that this does not constitute as financial advice. It's just me sharing my own insights and understanding on these topics. If you need financial advice, please consult someone that is reputable. So the first thing that you need to do is deal with the root cause, guys. How do you start dealing with the root cause? The first thing is you need to do your financial audit, do your money audit, where you sit down and you look at your past 3 months and look at how much and look at what are the things that I've been spending my money on. And what does this audit look like? It looks like this. I actually used to have an audit on my website, which I took down. I'm definitely going to rework that and put it up there, because it's very important that once in a while you do a financial audit of your finances. You take your 3 months bank statement, you sit down, and I want you to highlight all the money that is going out, all the money that went out on all the months, ne? And then I want you to first say month 1, month 2, month 3, so different shits here, ne? And then what I want you to do is on each month, I want you to categorize it under needs. I want you to have needs, a needs category. I want you to have a wants category, debts category, and other, so miscellaneous, ne? And I want you to go back on each month and look at the money that went out and figure out if this was a need or not. Now, how do you see that it's a need or a want? A need is something that you need for you to live, and a want is something that is a nice to have, that you can survive without, that you actually do not need for you to live off. So here we are looking for needs. We are looking at shelter, food, transport, and also your water and electricity rates and levies if you've got a bond. Those are needs. Also insurance, you can put it in here if you've got insurance, life cover. You also have funeral cover, because funeral cover is a need, you guys. You need to have that. Funeral cover, life cover. And then also if you got a house, insurance for the house. If you got a car, insurance for the car. Those are needs. And then for the ones, I want you to look at what are the things that the money that has been going out for things that you actually do not need for you to survive. So here you will be noting things such as airtime, data, Wi-Fi, entertainment, like in terms of DSTV, Showmax, Netflix. You note all of those things down. If you went out, you note down how many times you went out, how much money did you spend when you were going out, for your hair, anything, hair, nails, all of those things, they fall under here. Clothes, they fall under here, because in most cases, if you need clothes, we need to be clothed, but you can't be buying clothes each and every month. I want you to then go look at your debts, the debts that you have, list all of the debts that you have, note them down, each and every one of them, how much money was going out towards those debts. And then anything else that you could not categorize, I want you to put it on miscellaneous. Then do it for the second month, do it for the third month, and kind of get a view of where your money is going. Now I want you to total everything up and see how much money you are spending on needs, how much money is going on wants, how much money is going on debts, and how much money is going on miscellaneous. If you have savings, you can also have a category of savings here and just note down those savings. And then I want you to then now start looking at the percentages in terms of how much is going on each category. Now we do not want, if there's more money that is going towards debt in conjunction with how much you get paid, then it's an area of concern. If there's more money going on wants and looking at your income, then it's an area of concern. If there are so many random things that you're spending money on that you cannot categorize, it's an area of concern. On your needs, we cannot say that you can't be paying a lot, because it depends on the things that you are involved, you are paying for. So then you will put it there. So if you've got a bond and it's a debt, obviously it's going to go on your needs. You don't, even though it's a debt, but you can put it on your needs because you do need shelter for that. So you can clump that together. So even if you find that your needs are maybe 50% or 60%, that's okay if you've got a house in there, because it includes your shelter. But then the question you should be asking yourself is this too much? The money that I'm paying for my house, is it too much or not? A car is not a need. It's not a need, it's a want, but we're just going to put it on under a debt. So I want you to do this. This would be your financial audit. Will give you a view of where your money is going. And then you can start making plans on what can I do? What do I need to cut? What are things that I need to be mindful of? And what can I put in place so that I start improving my spending and start decreasing all of this money that I'm spending on once. Ne? And then the second thing here, if you find that you have a lot of debts when you do this financial audits, I want you to take time and create a debt repayment plan. Now, I've spoken about the fact that I've got a debt repayment plan on my website. It retails for less than 300 rands, and this includes a full guide that takes you through understanding how to develop a debt repayment plan, but also it has an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to then start playing around with figures to figure out that what debt do I want to start with. It's a very easy to understand type of a document. But also, if you feel like you cannot do this yourself, you've tried to do it yourself and you feel like you need help, I'm available. I've got a financial mentorship program on my website as well. This is a 3-month program. So on the first month, we'll work on looking at all your debts, creating a plan. And then on the following 2 months, I will be your accountability partner to make sure that you are indeed executing this plan. And then after that, I will let you go to carry on by yourself. So you need to develop a debt repayment plan if you find that you're struggling with debts. Ne? If it's family responsibilities, like you're carrying a lot on your shoulders, I really want to encourage you. I've done a video on about this and I'm going to put it here. I really want to encourage you to start drawing stricter boundaries. Start having boundaries. You cannot be struggling financially and barely making it, but you also want to be superman for everyone else. And I know some families can put a lot of pressure on people that are working to say that you need to take care of your siblings. But if you're battling, just be honest with your family to say, right now, fam, I am struggling. I would love to help, but I'm really struggling. Once I have cleared everything up, I'm going to come back and help where I can. But right now, I can't. I really want to, but I can't. So start drawing up strict boundaries. Another one, if you're an emotional spender, I really would encourage you to get therapy, get help, because clearly there's a root cause. There's a problem there that you don't understand or you do not know about. Get therapy so that you stop being an emotional spender, because that's going to lead you to do a lot of mistakes which are going to cripple your finances. If you have a car and it's really above your means, like you're really battling with your car, consider downgrading. There's nothing wrong with downgrading. People have done it many times. Downgrade is going to take you a lot further. If it's a house, consider renting out that house or selling that house, so that way you can actually start breathing. And if it's possible, charge more than what you are paying for your bond, so that difference you can channel it somewhere else. You can do this for a few years until everything else is okay, and then you can go back to your house. If your salary is too low, consider getting yourself a side hustle. And here, I know that many of us will work full-time jobs, and most times we are tired. I'm always tired, you guys, always tired. And so, but I really just want to encourage you that if you realize that if you see that your income is not stretching further enough, it's just too small, consider getting a side hustle and use that side hustle to allocate it properly in your finances. And a question that I want you to ask yourself here when it comes to side hustles is, what value can I bring to the next person? What problem can I solve for the next person? If you figured out what value can you provide to the next person there, have that as a product or a service that you can provide, and thus you charge for it, and then you get an income that will help you substitute your formal income that you have. I really want to encourage you to think about this. And beyond just our salaries not being enough these days, guys, living off one salary is not practical. It's just not practical for many of us because of the cost of living. So if it's possible for you to have a side hustle, definitely grab that with both hands and try to find a side hustle that will not need a lot of money for you to start it. And then lastly, I really want to encourage you to start building a solution fund. Now, I'm not going to go into details in terms of what is a solution fund, and I'm sure that you may be having a question right now that, Jen, I've never heard of that. What is that? Definitely going to come back with another video that is packed with value and information that will allow you to understand what is the solution fund and how can you build it up. So for now, I'm going to leave it right here, and I hope that you were taking notes, and I hope that this was insightful. And I'm hoping more than anything that if you have realized that you are living above your means, that you're going to take time, look at your finances, do a financial audit, create a plan, and start working towards that plan. And as I said, if you need my assistance in any way, I've got a digital guide with a template that will allow you to build a debt repayment plan. But more than anything, I've got my services under the financial mentorship program, where I work with you for 3 months. We fix your finances, we understand what is the problem, we come up with solutions, then we fix those we start implementing that, and then I become your accountability partner, or basically your mentor in those 3 months, so that you start improving your finances. That is something that I'm currently offering on my website. You can just go on my website. It is always linked on the description down below. You can go on my website and inquire about the services, and then I'm going to be able to respond to you, and we can take it from there. So for now, I'm going to close it off here. I hope that you found value, and I hope that I'll see you on the next one. Please make sure that you do not forget to smash that like button on the bottom, and also subscribe if you are not part of this family. I would love to have you. Bye.